start streaming.
You caught us unawares.
You said start streaming.
My pants are down. Is that a problem?
You said start dreaming.
Oh, well,
Okay, and then we wait.
30 seconds and see.
And we wait 30 seconds and someone tells us if it's...
Jonas, turn on that good audio.
Audio.
Hey stream, bear with us. We're so sorry. We're really trying tonight.
So I'll know if the
audio. Hey, that sounds good.
That's definitely the note I sang.
We're really trying tonight.
Cool.
We don't sound like monsters.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, stop it.
Stop it. Wait, stop it.
No, not you, Jonas.
Wait, stop it. I'm stopping the stream.
So tonight it'll be a stream of a stream that's happening in real time. So welcome to Infinity, fuckers.
All right, let's go.
Like.
Let's do it. So just a reintroduction. Okay, if we end up with anybody in the chat.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Today, if you have a question about the show or about our characters, about what we do or what's going on, people like tweet out, like say maybe we've got something figured out. Mm-hmm. We will be checking chat for the first time.
Yeah,
and
you will get to see us look at our phones.
And and we will.
I'm so excited to look at my phone.
And we will answer questions and everything. So basically, what's going on tonight is. Should we stop the stream again?
No.
No.
It's just like, now I just have a straight shot of me. So I'm just
you know how I feel. That's how I feel, Franny. Every fucking week, this is how I feel. Right?
So sounds good. Cool.
I can still check mine out.
Should we do introductions?
Yeah, we should.
Hang on. So real quick, the reason that we're doing, in case you missed earlier, the reason that we're doing this setup is because our usual streaming space had some issues, and we were unable to stream from there tonight. So unfortunately, this is not going to be a plot-related episode. This is sort of just a behind-the-scenes, like a chance for you guys to interact with us directly, and for us to talk about theories and the world, and just how the series is going so far.
Yeah.
So if that's something you're interested in, please stick around. We would love to have you. We're sorry about the technical difficulties, but unfortunately, this is just how tonight has to go. So if you're here and you're giving us your time, we really appreciate it, and we will try to.
I think it's gonna be fun. Like this is
actually
I love doing stuff like this, like breaking up the. Well, not to say I wouldn't have wanted to do a full episode, like a plot episode tonight, but like genuinely, I like this kind of stuff. I think it's gonna be cool.
We
would planned this whole thing.
Sabotaged it. Yeah, I went right to that old space and punched a hole in all the cameras, and still haven't caught me.
We all would have really liked to do a plot-related episode tonight, but we will. We're still gonna have a fun time tonight, so please stick around. Okay.
Yes.
So,
and I do see we have a couple people who may be watching. So thank you for sticking around through all the difficulties. I think we finally got it on take 3.
You are the true MVPs.
Yeah, true.
I know for sure. I tweeted out prematurely that we had fixed it, and we lost at least one friend. But that's just part of growing up. Is just losing friends because you make bad decisions, do things too early, say things you shouldn't. You just you learn from.
What do you mean you don't give people 5 chances?
If you're out there, Luke, we're sorry.
Oh, call out.
Yeah,
Jesus.
but no last names.
No.
None.
If you're out there, XY, living at XYZ address at 4301, apartment number 7. With the window, sleeps with a red tiger.
Oh god. We just called someone
with
out.
a red tiger.
Someone's gonna watch this stream someday and be like, oh god.
They know too much. Abort.
It's me, Tiger Luke.
So I wrote down.
All my friends know.
I wrote down a couple questions.
Oh, cool.
And I was figuring maybe we could start with that, unless William, you have something you'd like.
Question 1: Does God exist?
No.
We're gonna say that for later. Please.
Well, we just answered it. No. Sam was like, no.
Oh yeah.
Of course not.
No. Why would we? Why would we?
If God existed, we would not be allowed to have this stream.
Who's God?
Question 2: What is morality?
No. Okay.
We should do introductions though.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right, so this show, if this is the first time you're seeing this, and also if you're watching on YouTube, if this actually works and ends up a VOD, and you're watching this as your first introduction to the show, I guess don't do that.
Yeah.
I think this would be the one episode where I'm like, don't like, yeah, go to something else.
There will absolutely be spoilers.
All of the VODs to the previous episodes that we've done, which we've done 7 plus a 0 session, they are all available on QueueTimes' main YouTube channel, and that's in a playlist called Hijinks and Handlebars, and that has everything that you're going to need, and it's really fun. Watch us on 1.25 speed. That's what I do when I go back to listen to the episodes. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry that my hair.
So tonight we'll be shaving Franny's head live.
This is what I literally feel like every week. Every week I have that goddamn monitor right there, and I'm like, oh shit, I feel like bad.
Have you ever considered being gorgeous? That's what I do, and then I can just be like, oh, it's a treat.
You know what?
He's doing it, it's not working.
I've never thought about that.
All right, I interrupted. I'm so sorry. Continue.
But usually Hijinks and Handlebars is an actual Play Kids on Bikes tabletop live stream.
Sure does.
Today it is a Kids on Pikes.
Oh,
gross.
Wow.
That's awful.
Hey man, in a siege you gotta do what you gotta do.
Kids on Bikes. It's a Kids on Bikes actual play live stream plot and character chat kind of thing. And I am the GM. I am William White, they, them, or he, him. Jonas?
I'm Jonas. It's me, he, him. Sorry, I was reading a comment. I'm Jonas, he, him, and I normally play Darian Nazari, also he, him.
I am Sam Richardson, and I normally play. Do I normally say my last name?
No.
Okay.
Every now
It's
and
out
then.
there now. I normally play a character named Teddy Tedward Tank Thompson. Also he, him all around.
Darius 13.
He, him, all around.
He, him all around. You get a he, him, and you get a he, him.
Oh, we're working on it.
Is my he him in the mail? I've been sorry for so long. Cool.
Wait, were you done?
Oh, I'm done. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm so done.
Are you done? I'm sorry.
I'm Franny Morrison.
Yay.
I'm playing Gertie Fox. She, her. I'm she, her. Gertie, she, her. And Gertie is 14 going on 15.
I am 14 going on 15. That's how aging works.
Was that written before copyright?
That's why we're gonna get a copyright strike.
Oh, are you kidding me? We're gonna get destroyed for doing that. That's like, I'm pretty sure that, I mean, that's like gotta be like Universal Music Group
They're
or something,
so
isn't it?
Oh, and
So
Universal Music
litigious.
Group, sweet.
It's sweet and
So,
we love them.
If we're all in agreement that it's too late, can we just like arbitrarily sing happy birthday?
Wait, who
Happy
are
birthdays
you?
in
Who
the...
is this person next to me?
Who are you? Introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. Who am I indeed? Question number 3. Who am I? Hi, I'm Spencer LaBelle. Normally I play Frankie Fox, 10-year-old younger Gertie Gertie is sister brother.
Gertie's whatever.
And the bad
really.
boy who so far has continued to
Listen,
live.
folks, it's been a long week.
And it's
Today.
only Tuesday.
Today has been a long
Today's
week.
been a long week. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
raining in LA. Doesn't happen, but
Does
does.
not happen. Nope. Except today. It's also raining in Bald today. In case you didn't know.
Well, since we're here, something we could do just as a simple little thing is, why don't we just like kind of legitimately recap like
What happened?
Oh, shit.
There?
Yeah. Okay.
episode by episode if people want to.
Yeah.
Just like we can get through a quick one. I say, even though all of my recaps are like 7 minutes long at the beginning of every episode.
15.
Hey, no, they're not, because there's a lot of stuff at the beginning, and there's some other stuff, and then I do a recap.
And there's some vamping, and then
Yeah, we're just playing.
just playing.
We're playing.
playing.
We're just playing so much.
Just playing some kids on bikes.
Can you imagine if we were serious and stuck to the schedule the whole time? We would just be like, yeah, and then this happened, and then that happened.
Can you
And
imagine?
our show would be like an hour long every
we stuck
week.
to the script that William gave us every week?
Yeah.
I try to.
What
every
a
week
joke,
I break
right?
off about halfway through.
Yeah, it's so crazy that he gives us a script every week, and it's
Yeah.
almost
and we
like we
can't
just
seem
ignore
to
it.
just stay on it.
We normally,
it's so crazy.
for those of you at home wondering like how our production schedule works, we normally do have scripts out usually every Sunday that we then
Yeah.
record Tuesday.
Of course, yeah.
If
And
you
there's
watch
minor
closely-
changes that always come down the pipeline, but you know.
Yeah, if you watch closely, you can see the point in every episode where I decide to just start riffing instead.
Yeah, you can actually see me reading the teleprompter in most of the episodes.
William looks mad.
I'll say this: if this was scripted, wouldn't that also be incredibly impressive?
Yeah. Yes, it would.
I feel like if giving me credit as that this is scripted, I think is almost more impressive than letting like people believe you're all making it up on the spot. Like I either way, believe what you will. Maybe I script the whole thing, but that's freaking sweet.
I mean, like, Critical Role is scripted, so are we.
Every podcast you listen to is scripted.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
By the way,
every
Critical
improv
Role's
show
not
you've
scripted.
ever seen was scripted.
It's not.
That's
Critical
good.
Role's
You
not
know what?
scripted.
First question: what's the most scripted podcast you listen to?
This one.
Bubble.
Oh, true. True.
And it's pretty good.
It's okay. It's okay.
I
It's-
liked it.
It's fun.
I enjoyed it to the end.
This is not the
This is what we're
not the bubble.
So what
cast,
has happened
like,
so far
cast.
on Hijinks and Handlebars?
In the 0 session, what happened?
We built our characters.
The characters were introduced,
Yeah.
which was Gertie, Frankie, Derry, and Teddy. Yeah, and they're
That's
kids
everyone's
and
response to Teddy.
they're kids and they bike and they do stuff. In the first episode, everybody started on a fall break, which was not Thanksgiving, but it was just like a thing. It's like a semester break, which I had in college, and I wanted to do it for this, even though they're children. So I was just like, this school has a semester break. So it happens mid-October, so that's where we started. It's the beginning of a long weekend. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they go back to school on Monday. So all of the kids were out having a good time camping with the Fox parents, the Fox folks, which are Marcus and Phoebe Fox, and they are the parents of Frankie and Gertie. And they were out there doing that,
Rad as fuck.
and eventually it's
Okay,
true.
this is a good point to say that the comment made me laugh earlier was QueueTimes themselves saying, "Y'all, I'm not counting swears this episode. I already lost track."
Fuck.
Yeah, this is gonna be an expletive-laden episode. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess.
We're just stressed.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. Now we're going to get demonetized on YouTube.
Sweet, I can't wait.
So
I've
we
been
went
trying
through
so
camping.
hard.
I think YouTube just monetizes every video over like 10 minutes because they're just
Yeah.
like, no, that's a lie. I know a lot of video essayists who get their videos demonetized. Yeah,
So we were camping.
there's no such thing as improv. That's true.
Absolutely not.
Thank you, Charlie Winters.
So I'm getting a phone call
Jonas
and I'm
is
not
getting
having
called
it.
on stream.
I'm not having it.
Jonas is Jonas is getting literally called out.
So Gertie ended up coming across some birds, some crows,
A
some
murder.
crows.
Cruise.
Of crows.
She found a mid.
A muck duck of crows.
Meadow of crows.
A meadow of crows.
Meadow of
Meadow
crows.
of crows.
They were
smell
scary.
So nice.
Yeah, they
We
were
were
acting
scared.
strange.
Yes.
They weren't cawing.
No, which is weird. And also they were staring. They were staring. Things we introduced in that like episode that like will likely come up later. This is an axe, which
is
is
an axe.
Frankie's catchphrase and relationship
Frankie's
with
like kind
axes.
of
He's very axe prone.
axe prone. Wants
not-
hands on axe.
Very prone to axe related.
Hands on axe.
Frankie is what you'd call a hands-on learner. So if he wants to learn how to axe, he must
Hands on axe.
Yeah, and
Hands on
you
axe.
must ask
Right.
all the
Must ask.
questions.
right?
Yes, RPG
It's
Yogi.
accident safety.
And anyone else who might be tuning in now and missed the intro, we're at a different space tonight, and we're not doing a normal episode because we got the stream up late. We've had some issues, and
The reason we're not doing an episode is because the studio that we usually run out of has had some damage of some sort and needs to be repaired. So
still sort of unclear.
so
but
instead of just taking the night off, because we all really love getting together and we still wanted to, we did
We've spent literally.
actually if you
3
go
hours.
if you go and follow at handlestream on Twitter or Instagram, we will. If we haven't already, we'll put up a post that shows you exactly how we set up what we set up today.
Actually, I'm gonna take a picture right now.
Yeah.
It's just
This I will put this up. It's crazy.
yeah,
Like,
it's
we've
in
just-
Sam's. It's in our apartment,
Yeah.
and Sam's mattress is up against the wall.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
And
People don't need to know.
we
that
threw
we're in my
everything
room.
away.
my dog
my-
is just
My
outside.
room is so big.
We live in LA. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Also, RPG Yogi, thank you for joining us for your first episode.
Oh my god.
Oh
no. Please.
We will be giving spoilers, so if you prefer to go and
save this one,
educated content,
put a pin in it.
Yeah. I mean, just know, like, we will be giving spoilers for everything that's happened thus far, and not in the most, like, I think, not in the best way to absorb initially, but we would love to have you stick around if you want to be with us.
Yeah, this show is legitimately so good.
Yeah.
And you should start on episode 1 and catch up because it's great.
Not to brag, but it's literally the best. Not to brag, but it's the greatest.
Yeah, so
we're right up there.
RPG Yogi, we would love to have you continue. Do so at your own risk, I suppose.
Yeah, we're in a huge spoil. Huge spoils.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to leave this and go start watching again, the playlist is on the QueueTimes main YouTube channel, and there's playlists for Hijinks Handlebars.
Yeah.
You can watch all of the VODs. We have 7 episodes so far, including and that's excluding a 0 session. So we have 8 total things to watch. Watch us on 1.25 speed. It'll be great. Thanks so much for checking in. If you stick with us,
stick around. We'll see you at the end.
We're gonna spoil everything.
I want to know how that went.
Yeah.
So we were camping. There was an axe. There were crows. Frankie made a like
crotum.
We called it a
crow totem.
A crow totem.
Yeah.
Crotum.
I know it sounds like scrotum, but it's not.
It sounds real gross.
Yes.
It's just a little bit of clay, some urine, and some squirrel bones.
Oh, and some feathers.
And some feathers.
In there too.
And some Gertie. We put Gertie's...
Who gave you those squirrel bones?
Gertie provided Frankie with the squirrel bones. She killed the squirrel herself, skinned it, boiled the flesh off of it.
Yeah.
Hold on. We have to clarify what's the joke and what isn't. That didn't happen.
That did not happen. So
on screen.
We were out camping, and I think the next thing that happened was we stumbled upon the... we went out into...
Bicycles, didn't we? Oh, no, that happened. Yeah, okay, so...
We went out into the woods to go for
a moonwalk.
midnight walk.
A moonwalk.
To go explore the forest.
We are doing a show.
And I think we were sort of ambushed by the crows, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had traps laid up and everything. It was horrible. It was a bloodbath.
No traps, but they were circled around us and all around, and then everything was dark for some of us, right?
Yeah,
Only Gertie the first time.
Yeah, so Gertie.
Yeah, so as we tried to run back to camp to escape the crows, Gertie found herself in what we have come to refer to as the shadow place, which is essentially just this like black void of nothingness where you can't move and you can't hear anything.
It's really peaceful.
Yeah, Gertie is the only character who is sort of a fan of the shadow place. There's
enjoyable.
I mean, it's just absolute calmness.
Yeah.
Like,
to some characters. To Teddy, it is not.
It's like
fun.
It's like the deprivation room.
Oh yeah, the sensory. I wrote a. Oh,
you mean my nightmare?
Yeah.
It's around here somewhere.
Were you? Is my backpack over there somewhere? Never mind. It's not worth it.
Stop the stream. We need to find a backpack.
Any backpack will do.
So
we're joking.
After that, was it? When did Teddy first encounter the shadow place?
It was the next episode, I believe. It was like right at the end. Yeah, you hadn't ever. So, I think I'm just gonna take over and blitz through.
Okay,
please do.
Sure, please.
So first episode, like it was shadow place interaction. Gertie saw some little eyes on the ground and was gonna reach out, and then they got pulled away. Went back to camp. We're a little spooked, but went to bed. Went out for a bike ride the next day. Found some bullies' bikes, Little Pete and Big Rob, and Derry was like, oh, we should do something to him. Frankie poked some holes into him. Teddy was like, oh, I'll kick it. Teddy kicked the bike. It fell into the river. And then Derry was like, you know what? This other bike goes in there too.
It was an accident. It was an accident.
So then they went along for some possible treasure hunting, which is something that Teddy and Gertie really like to do. And a pseudo storm, like just like clouds, like what felt like seemed like a storm but didn't feel like a storm, rolled in. It got really dark, and they saw this darkness like approach them from the woods, and it enveloped Teddy, who was separated from the group. And Teddy saw those same eyes, presumably that Gertie had seen. And he swung and seemingly broke out of this thing or something, what we called the shadow place, and they all saw a beagle. just on the ground.
Yep.
And then we start the next episode. So episode 2, we start with this beagle. Everyone's suspicious. We're like, where'd you come from? People are like, did you come from this place? And whatnot?
Teddy was still super not on board.
Yeah.
I think Derry and Teddy at that point, that's when that started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gertie and Frankie immediately just wanted a dog. So they were like, let's take this dog. So they took the dog back to the campsite, scared the Fox parents with the dog by just trying to toss it in the tent, which didn't go well. The dog...
It was a good plan.
The dog, which they immediately named BB, then ran away. Gertie went to chase, ran into the bullies, Big Rob and Little Pete, and they were like, we know you did our bikes dirty, Gertie. Dang it, why didn't I say that? Wait, we know you did our bikes dirty, Gertie.
You didn't say that because Big Rob would have had something to be proud of.
Yeah, that's true. But the bullies were like, hey, we're going to beat you up for this, but mostly want to beat up Frankie because Frankie was the only one who left evidence that he was the one who did it.
He marked it with an F, right?
Yeah.
In the dirt.
Brief interjection. Chat consensus is that on a scale from 1 to 10, Gertie is an 8.5 creepy. I assume based on the falsities about her skinning a squirrel.
Oh. Okay.
Who knows?
Who lies?
Or you find her creepy.
Or just the shadow play stuff.
Yeah,
Gertie.
Shadow play stuff. Maybe.
Personally, I think she's very endearing and sweet, and maybe a little creepy.
I think 8.5 is her ability to deal with creepiness.
Cool.
Yes. Continue, sorry.
So that's at least a D10 on creepy.
Do you want to defend?
Sounds good.
Anyways.
Accurate.
I don't find Gertie creepy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, chat.
You know what? Don't watch. No. If you find Gertie creepy, that is your prerogative.
And I will find you.
That's not helping. That doesn't help at all.
Franny's creepy.
Actually, Franny's creepy. Gertie's
Franny
not.
is creepy.
Franny's creepy. Yeah.
Saying stuff like that.
Franny's creepy, but she's got a good heart.
You know what,
If you don't
Gertie?
think
You
so,
know
I'll
what,
find
Gertie's
you.
creepy.
She showed it to us.
Franny's got a.
Pretty well.
Jonas.
Sorry, was I staring?
I don't know. So then Gertie went back. The rest of them approached the bullies. There was like a little bit of a tough, and it got over with, and everybody.
Wait, was that was?
Oh, and then Frankie stopped the fight essentially by appearing in a tree, holding an axe near. Just wearing underwear, body painted in like pea clay,
And a tie around his head.
and a tie around his head. Which, by the way, Frankie is 10 years old,
Oh yeah.
and screaming, "Rule number 1: this is an axe," which was rules that were set up by the parents earlier about the axe and the use of said axe and Frankie's interaction with the axe, and it scared the bullies away. Everybody went back to camp after Marcus Fox, the father of the 2 Fox children, came over and with his new alarms came over and was like, "Hey, stop." stop, please, stop.
No.
They had a conversation about things that they should and shouldn't do, and about how they've been kind of freaking the parents out. And then Teddy, especially Teddy, but kind of all of them, was a little uncomfortable with being in the woods with the experiences that they had been having with the shadow place and with this dog. So they decided to go back home. So everybody went back home from the camping. And then they all ended up in the same place again anyway. What happened next?
We went to the Fox house. There was
the foxhole.
The foxhole. There was a conversation where they talked about what they were going to do with BB. I think that happened without us. I think we might have stopped at home first.
Yeah.
Teddy
Teddy went home because James was out dealing with something.
James, you know who your parents are.
I think it was James. I don't remember. It was either James or Michael.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met one of Teddy's dads, whichever one was home.
Yep.
The other one was out at the courthouse. And then we all met up back at the foxhole. Derry went home, but we didn't do anything there.
Yeah.
I think, because...
Derry went upstairs.
That's right, Derry went straight to his room, because he was a little scared.
And
a little shaky.
To attempt to play saxophone, but his hand hurt from punching one of the bullies.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah.
We met at the foxhole. I think it was like they had started, the foxes had started like BB proofing. That's what it was. We were keeping BB outside while the parents were BB proofing the house.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
And
then the parents, the Fox parents, said maybe we'll keep this dog. We need to keep an eye out to see if it is anybody else's dog. So you need to make posters, and we need to try as hard as we can to find the owners. If we don't, within like a month or so, Gertie, you get to keep the dog. So Gertie and Teddy went into the house to make posters for like found dog or whatever.
Yeah.
They were on the computer. They had a discussion about both of them being the only ones who had been in the shadow place.
Mm-hmm.
And then some strange things started to happen with like the printing of the posters. They were coming out completely black, and then they were coming out with eyes on them. And in an attempt to stop that from happening, Gertie was like, just shut off the power. And Teddy was like, haha, nope. And slammed the computer against the wall.
Or tried to.
I tried to, and it's like an IMAX situation, so it's like computer inside desktop screen.
It's in the computer.
So when Teddy went to do that, pushed through the screen and fell into it and into the proverbial shadow place in the computer.
In cyberspace.
And was in darkness and was starting to not be able to hear anything anymore. And then on the next episode...
that was the cliffhanger, right? That was
the next episode, we started with Teddy in the shadow place. And Teddy was just trying to... calm down and like get a grasp of what was going on, and it was very stressful and
Teddy was not
scary.
having a good time.
And then Teddy saw a pair of eyes. Wasn't exactly sure whose they were, and we did a flashback to Teddy and Derry getting their first instruments together for the band that they were. That they have formed called
Mom Strength.
Mom Strength.
Mom Strength, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a saxophone drum duo. Derry plays saxophone.
And Teddy plays drums.
Also
Super well,
drums.
by the way.
So good.
Wow. So
They're
good.
not good. They're canonically not very good.
But they
Still
are
that
working on
hits
their
runs.
first album.
They
so-
are. And they're
A
getting
plus for
somewhere.
effort.
Yeah. But
And that's where they were getting the instruments from Savada, the person who works at Bald Music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and essentially they just found out about this incredibly large saxophone and were playing in the store. And that's where we also met Declan Rose, who lives in Bald and works at the Bald Music shop, who came in. And they thought they weren't supposed to play on the instruments, but then Declan was, I'm pretty sure you can play on the instruments. And then Savada came in and was like, you can play on the instruments. Of course you can play on the instruments.
Declan might be my favorite character we've introduced.
Declan's
like my favorite NPC.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
So fifth favorite overall.
Yeah. And that cut, good point. And that cut us to Teddy
This is good.
with Frankie. And this was another flashback, but
Was it the
in a different time period. It was at the thrift shop.
No one sing it.
No one sang it. And John.
I wasn't until you planted it in my head, so...
I'm holding it in.
And they were looking for a birthday present for Gertie at the time. Frankie suggested getting a plate and shattering it so that Gertie could put it back together like a puzzle.
Which was so great.
Which was so great. Which was
Knows
amazing.
her so well.
Yeah.
Gertie loves puzzles, which we haven't
Yes.
mentioned.
How to channel your chaotic energy for good.
Yep.
And Teddy thought that he should get her some sort of like treasure map or
Treasure map,
like
something.
that.
Yep. So they're looking for that. And in looking for it, they encountered two other bullies, Dake Marin and Jordan Willows.
The fucks.
Yeah, they're horrible. They're really bad.
Terrible folks.
They're very bad. Essentially, it feels like they just bully for fun.
Yeah, Big Rob and Little Pete, like, at least Big Rob is a little endearing. Actually, they both are. Like, there's some endearing.
It seems like there's
to
something
them,
there.
But we haven't seen anything good.
But
about
Dake Marin and Jordan
It
Willows,
just suck.
they just want to beat up a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Just bad.
Yeah. But they are also teens, but
Yeah.
still not great.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 15, I never wanted to beat up a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
I just did it.
I just
Just went ahead and
yeah.
No desire needed.
So they were shattering. These bullies were shattering the dishes in the thrift shop, and that was bad. And Teddy and Frankie tried to stop them, and they wouldn't stop. And Teddy felt like bad about, walked outside and ran into his sister Andolyn. And was like, you know what, Andolyn, there's some business going on inside, and I need your help taking care of it. And Andolyn was like, heck yeah. So they pop in there.
Let's go bust some noobs.
Let's go bust some news. I swore, I think, but I'm gonna keep
I
saying
wrote
that.
down the exact thing you said because
We've had this exact conversation.
It's a shame it's not like it's recorded digitally on the internet
too
for all
bad.
time. Like
Too
it's just
bad.
lost forever.
Yeah, it's true. We can never watch episode 3 again. Yeah, so they get in there. They start throwing toys at the bullies, and in a moment of strength and courage, Teddy picked up a toy tank and chucked it at one of their heads, and just like a big bonk.
Walked them.
And that's how Teddy got the nickname Tank from Frankie, because Frankie was like, "Hey, oh yeah, Tank, something."
You know, just you having problems, just tank it, dude.
Just tank them.
Just Tank him, because Teddy is known by the group as Tank, so it's either Teddy or Tank. And then that transitioned into the last of the flashbacks, which was with Gertie, where they were treasure hunting out in the woods, and they came across like a metal object, and the metal object was seemingly connected to another object that was buried underneath. And what was it? But a chest, which they kept saying it was a treasure chest. And on stream, at one point I said like, well, it's just a chest. And I was like, but to kids, any chest you find, actually almost anyone, I would say, if you find a chest underground, no matter what's in there, it's treasure. It's a treasure chest.
one man's chest.
One man's chest. Teddy absolutely 100% for sure believes that it's a treasure chest buried by some person who was burying treasure. Like,
Watch as
100%.
you, like- So my personal theory about the chest is they're gonna open it up and Elvis Presley is gonna be like, "Oh, where am I?"
What a pull. Did you do that just so you could do your Elvis impression?
I missed it too. Wait, there was an impression?
Wait, oh yeah, wait, who steps out and what did they say?
What did they say? How did they sound?
Guys, I'm sure Elvis is copyrighted by Warner. His personality.
Disney.
Las Vegas has him.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Go. Do it.
Where am I?
It's just old calm Frankie.
That's just that's it is. I had an older friend.
Like I've never done like an Elvis impersonation before, so it like really threw me off. That.
It's like,
Wait, where am I?
wait. It's like it's sleep.
mama.
It just woke up from a nap. Elvis. Oh, where am I? Where am I?
Also, Elvis is a vampire. That's Act 2.
Oh wait, Elvis is a vampire. He wakes up. Oh, where am I?
Oh, thank you for letting me out.
Drum this on a ukulele.
I gotta go find God.
Can I please? Elvis has
can't.
wait.
We just-
Elvis
we
has
already
left
answered
the
question.
building and he can't come back in unless you invite him.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Now we know.
That's why we've never seen him again, because he.
Were you thinking of that
No one
more
will
you
know.
know thing?
I just did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we get that graphic across the screen? Can we get the graphic?
graphic? Can't we be aiming for Frankie?
Stop. That's enough.
Bad.
Frankie.
No.
I know we're a little lacking on handlebars tonight, but can we not
Up the
type
hijinks.
the. What did I just say?
Hang on, I'm ordering a pizza.
Where were we? Oh
calling
yeah.
my boss.
So the
Chat, by the
chest.
way?
Chest. This is the
chest.
saddest episode too, which is why we're
Because, like,
laughing
what if
so
people are
much.
asking
We're
questions and we just, like, are
emotions.
totally
Yeah.
ignoring them?
Yeah, are people asking questions?
No,
So
yeah.
last time I saw in the chat, you're at actually a 9.2 on the creepy scale.
Yes.
Wow.
No, he was 9.8.
I'm pretty sure it was
I'm going
9.8.
places, people.
9.8.
9.8.
You stopped
Okay.
at 9.2, so there was a
Oh,
progression.
All right.
So we found the chest, the treasure chest. Teddy and Gertie did.
Yes. And they were trying to uncover it and get it out, but it was like either too heavy or something else was going on, and they just like they couldn't dig underneath it because they hit like some like hard topsoil or something. It was just like topsoil's the top,
Bedrock.
William. Topsoil's the top. If there's one thing that I've learned, yeah.
That's like a Marcus thing to say. I've hit topsoil 10 times before in my life.
What are the instructions like? That's an episode
Rule
1
number
joke.
1.
If you haven't seen episode 1.
that was
You know
it.
you've hit
Go watch
topsoil when you
Yeah,
hit
that's
the top.
Franny doing a lovely call out of my one of my favorite characters to play, Marcus Fox.
He's always out of his
so
element.
good.
He's never in his element. He doesn't know what he's doing. When are we gonna find the thing he's good at? Like that's what I want to know.
He's good at parenting.
Oh!
a wonderful husband.
And it was my kids who said it, so that means it's true. Damn. Oh, yeah. So, so there's treasure. Say, hey, Marcus, can you come in here and
Can
do
we
this?
just we can change up what we're doing entirely?
Yeah, can we
just have
Marcus,
an interview?
Host this? I would.
No.
Marcus,
I love
what was it like?
Radio hour.
Yeah.
So Marcus, what was it like with Phoebe before you had the Fox children?
I heard that as what was it like to have the Fox children before Phoebe, which was a strange moment where I was like, I don't think that's possible. But then, what was it like? Oh, you know, we went on a lot of adventures and stuff. We're pretty limited by what we could do.
Smoked a lot of weed.
No, we've never smoked in our lives.
Smoked a lot.
It just
So
hasn't
much.
happened.
So much.
Mr. Fox, if I may briefly, how
sure.
many phones have you broken in your life?
Well, here's the thing. So I didn't have a phone for a really long time
Because there weren't any.
because there weren't any.
Because you're old.
Because I'm old. But when Phoebe and I eventually did go in on a phone together, we thought it would be best if I wasn't the one to hold it. So sometimes I would, if I got my hands on the phone, I would just take cute little pictures of Phoebe. But other than that, I wouldn't really do much else. Because the one time I did, she was on the edge of a cliff, and I was like, it'd be really cool to get kind of like up the barrel sort of photo of the love of my life right now. So I was like, Phoebe, stay there, and she was like, no. I was like, you gotta stay there. So I was like trying to climb off the edge, and she was like, you need both your hands for climbing. Lord knows those new alarms are gonna hold you up. And I was like, Phoebe, you're gonna love this picture. It's gonna be epic. And she was like, Marcus, no. Well, I say epic now. Is that a problem?
No, it's entirely in date. It's entirely up to date.
Yeah. Long story short, either myself or the phone fell.
Or both.
Either?
I
Well,
think we know which one.
okay, it was both. And I almost brought Phoebe down with me.
Because
But her
collapsed.
Well, she reached down and picked to
gotcha.
grab me. I fell a little bit. I probably would have died, but you know what?
Long live the king.
I like to think that everybody is destined to. Was that a?
Break their legs 10 times?
Yeah.
That was a Macbeth reference, yes.
Oh, that's my favorite fast food restaurant chain.
Mr. Fox.
No!
Yes.
Mr. Fox, I just we're a reporter for the Daily Bald here. I'm really curious. I'm really.
Give Reggie my best.
Hey, we don't work together. He works at City Hall. You should know this. It's in the World Overview document that I spent such a long time on.
That's true. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just I was curious what you're going as for Halloween to the Thompsons Halloween party.
That's gonna be a big secret. Sorry.
Can
So
we
it is
get
a party.
Can we get a hint?
No.
Can we get a hint for the newspaper? A tease?
Well, here's the only tease I'll give you. It's gonna be a couple's outfit kind of thing.
So
With
cool.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Raising Arizona.
Never
The
seen.
fox and the other fox.
The fox.
The fox and the
The
hound.
fox and the hound, except they're both foxes.
A horse butt and like
Wow.
a second horse butt to a different horse costume. That pairs together to become a double butt horse.
Thank you, Spencer, for making everyone in the chat who knows that I'm Boss Dog think that I use so much, what's it called? Exclamation and question mark? Punctuation. Because he sent a message that's all punctuation. I would never do that.
Because I
Never.
forgot to do it the first time.
That's off-brand.
It's actually fine.
So then, Gertie went to get
Wait,
some help pulling the chest
This
out.
is back to the recap. We're doing more recap.
back to the
stuff now.
recap,
This
yes.
is middle of episode 3.
Yes.
Yeah, so Gertie went back to to get a father to grab a father to help get the chest out of the ground, and when she went back to do that, they were like panicked and were like, "We need Teddy," so they went and tracked down Teddy and weren't even paying attention to the chest. Grabbed Teddy, brought Teddy back home, and Teddy got some real bad news that his sister Andolyn had died in an accident. And then we cut back to the present with Teddy in the shadow place looking at this pair of eyes. And Teddy is certain that he saw hers. And
it was a sad episode, y'all.
Very sad.
For real. Like, actually legitimately on stream, just to pull back the curtain a little bit, William did not warn me that was what we were doing for that episode. And when it happened, it legitimately felt like
excruciating?
Yeah. It was really rough. It was maybe the moment that I felt most like in tune with Teddy's emotions of any of the episodes we've played so far. Because it really, like, it hit me like a train. It was a lot. If you haven't seen that episode, it's really good.
And not to pull back the veil even more, it wasn't like Sam didn't know that could happen.
No, I invented that.
Sam was the one who made that.
That was established before we started.
I didn't just pop in and here's some emotional trauma.
Here's her sister, and now she's dead.
So
it was something I knew was coming, but it wasn't something that I knew was gonna happen.
I didn't explicitly go up to Sam and be like, "Hey,
prepare yourself
at the beginning." So then Teddy snapped back to reality. Nobody do it. And then on episode 4, we started with Gertie and Teddy having a loud conversation about the computer being destroyed up against the wall. Because the computer was still destroyed up against the wall because Teddy did, in fact, push it. So it was all broken. Everybody came in the room and was like, why are things broken? And the Fox parents came in the room and was like, this is broken. Why is it broken? And Teddy was like, I don't know what to tell you. I really can't explain this. And then Teddy got very sad and broke down because of the things that just happened with Andolin and all the implications. So Teddy was brought back home. Everybody got a little dispersed and calmed down a bit, and
Teddy was grounded.
That's right.
But then everyone decided to be grounded with Teddy.
At Teddy's house.
At Teddy's house.
Like the good friends they are.
And we brought BB.
Who was also grounded.
And we
were hanging out with her, and that was near the end of the episode.
No, this is the beginning of episode 4 now.
Yeah, y'all went over to Teddy's place, and we're we're all grounded with Teddy and Michael and James, Teddy's
we brought Stand By Me.
fathers. So we're you know what? Sure, come on in. Well, I think James was sure, come on in. And Michael was no, please don't.
Allergic to dogs.
Allergic to
Michael
dogs.
was allergic to dogs.
Skilled at allergic to dogs.
And the group that went up to Teddy's room. And Teddy wasn't there immediately, came out of Andolin's room, and then was like, what are y'all doing here? I'm grounded. And they were like, so are we. And they watched Stand By Me, and as they were falling asleep, they were like, oh, let's discuss some things. Shadow Place? BB Dog?
Magic?
Who knows? And they wanted to replicate the poster thing again, see if they could do that. So they wanted to take another picture of BB. And they all got together to take a group selfie. And before anyone could even push the button to take the picture, it snapped as BB, for the first time, barked. And they were all like, what? Dun, 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 dun.
I just want to, when we get done with the recap, we have a request to talk about why we chose to play our characters, the characters that we're playing. So
Awesome.
The first thing we talk about after.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So let's just let's just breeze through the rest of this recap.
Bullet points.
Yeah, so beginning of the next episode, everyone's like, BB's magic, pretty sure. And they're like, really? And then BB started barking and shutting more stuff off, like the lights and the television. Everyone got freaked out for good or for bad reasons. And then the parents came up and was like, what's going on? Monster dog. Then they separated the two into different rooms. They all got back in the same room again.
Fuck you, parents.
And they tried doing little tests with BB to see how far this could go. Scared her, shattered all of the lights in the room, tried to get a vacuum to vacuum that up, and as soon as they turned the vacuum on, it's it sent everybody into the shadow place.
Phoebe was terrified.
For the first time, all 4 of the player characters were in the shadow place. Gertie was experiencing some sort of peace. Frankie was like
trying to throw popcorn.
It wasn't working.
And it was just like
I think Frankie was just more interested in the reality of this reality,
right?
And Teddy was super not having it, and Derry was trying to help cope.
But
help Teddy to cope with the experience. There were some little eyes on the ground again, the same ones presumably that they saw before, and then there was an ocean of eyes seemingly in the distance coming towards them that only Gertie and Frankie saw.
Yeah.
And then as they were approaching, they heard a bark, they snapped back, and then everybody was like, you know what, actually we should go to bed. Like, I'm done here. Teddy was like, I'm going to bed, got into bed. And everybody went to their separate homes and like fell asleep. Except Derry. Derry did stay the night, just like laid on the floor or something. The next morning, they all got up to go to school. And
we did some school scenes.
There were some school scenes. We got introduced to some more characters, which, if you want the specifics on that, you can watch the episodes.
Yeah.
Episode 5, first day of school.
Yeah, and they made the decision at some point that they needed to... they wanted to go to the woods afterwards. Teddy had...
Yeah, first day of school is still in episode 4.
Never mind.
Teddy had some new resolve to get to the woods and figure out what was happening. And they were all like, yeah, let's do that.
Teddy was super tired.
Yeah.
But when he woke up, he was he had a new resolve to go to the woods.
But all of the bullies that we had introduced were attempting to get revenge for Little Pete and Big Rob's bicycle incident from the first episode.
Which we had nothing to do with.
And they were all trying to track them down and get them one-on-one the whole day. I think I'm combining episodes right now, but that's fine.
It was Gertie's confrontation with the bullies was the end of episode 4.
It was like.
And then episode 5 was the bullies were.
Episode 4 was when Frankie took over the school.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
He did take over the school.
Of Wald Elementary.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, Frankie took over the school, smeared poop in the vents.
Allegedly smeared poop in the air vents.
Yep. And he threw a marker at someone's head, and that person's name is now Green Street.
Green Street.
Yeah.
I think that's all the stuff that should come up again.
Yeah.
And then Frankie ended up at high school.
Yep.
God.
I am advanced for my years.
And was there and like owned that school a little bit too because he was rolling really well, and I have a hard time role playing against a 10-year-old.
Yep, me too.
But they kept getting confronted by bullies, and the day was winding down, and it was like 6 periods, 7 period, whatever, and they were all getting ready to leave. Derry wanted to meet up with Teddy before that happened, but then Derry got confronted by all the bullies, backed into a bathroom, and earlier had promised that he would not fight the bullies. So when the bullies started to beat Derry up, Derry did not fight back. And
he literally opened the door for them to hit him, actually.
Yeah.
I listened back recently. Very heroic.
Very heroic. Wow, you should really have gotten inspiration from that. And then, so the rest of they all got called to meet at the office by Phoebe. And just to touch on this, Gertie was on her way to the gymnasium, having forgot that she had promised to fight Taran Takahashi, who was one of the bullies. And Taran was waiting there. But also she was going to the gymnasium for what she remembered was to meet with Harini, a fellow classmate of hers, whom she wants to befriend, who had asked her to help make a card for one of their ill teachers. But had to get taken away to the office. Phoebe took everyone, was in shambles and was scrambling about, brought everybody home. Everyone was super worried. And plopped them down on a couch, put BB in front of them, and said, "Y'all, is this a magic dog?" And because she had been experiencing magic all day long. So we started the next episode.
The other thing we learned in episode 4 was Derry at some point got hold of Taran Takahashi's phone.
Sure.
And that the other friends don't know.
I want to clarify, was this still episode 4? Or was
that right there was the transition of 5 into 6.
Yes.
So now we're on 6.
5, but yes.
Now we're on 6.
Yep.
Now we're on 6. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
4 and 5 were mostly your school days.
Yep.
Right.
So 6, starts with, "Is this magic dog yell?" "Yeah, I told you to tell me what was going on." And they have a little bit of like a, now Phoebe knows what's going on. Let's open up a little bit about this. They had a bit of a discussion. Then Marcus came home, and they were like, "We gotta tell Marcus." So they started trying to tell Marcus, and Marcus was like, "This is a big prank. This is a good prank, everybody, big prank." And so they tried to get BB to do a trick or do some sort of thing with her powers, and it ended up being a slowing down of time. And in that moment, Gertie took BB and ran, and then time went back to normal. Marcus still didn't believe it. Phoebe was like, where's Gertie? And for the rest of the episode, everybody was like looking for Gertie, trying to track her down. She ended up going to Declan Rose's place, and went up into his super sweet, awesome, tricked out tree house.
Daddy totally doesn't go up there ever.
Definitely never. I never go up there.
Okay.
Declan's voice.
Yeah.
I didn't go up there, Mom. I'm Declan.
Mom, I never go up to the tree house.
I never go to the tree house.
Yeah, Declan's ringing it. I don't go up there, Mom. Oh no, I just got. I don't go up there, Mom. I'm Ringo. I'm Declan.
I'm Declan.
No, I'm Declan.
So I said.
I know, it sounded like Declan.
I did say Declan, though.
That's probably how he's bullied.
It's
Let's all think about
Declan.
that.
That's really sad.
What happened next?
Marcus and Frankie had a discussion about Frankie being appreciated at school in elementary, and was like, "I'm going to homeschool you." And Teddy went out into the woods looking for Gertie and was metal detecting, came across the chest again, but pondered for a moment and started yelling for Andolin to no avail, and then went back into town. Derry ended up getting brought home by Phoebe because Derry was still really beat up from the bullies interaction. We meet Derry's family, the grandpa, who's like very, very fun and seemingly just a goofy person. And then the parents are both like, pretty supportive, if not like, a little flighty, here and there.
Which Kiana and Farbode are the parents, mother and father. Grandfather is Vahid. If you're keeping score.
Yeah. And so
7-0.
Then Teddy ended up back at Derry's place just to chill, but then tried to fix Derry's nose and broke it real bad, even worse. So they went to the emergency room or like the family clinic.
That is such a fun moment, by the way. if you haven't gone back to rewatch that moment, it's quite good. The rolls are amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I love about rolls in this game. I mean, when you succeed, that's fun. But when you fail...
That's great.
Yep.
That's money.
That's money!
Yeah, so then Gertie got tracked down by her mom, but didn't necessarily know that she was up in the treehouse. Declan covered pretty well, but then Declan's parents were suspicious, went to check the treehouse. Gertie made a run for it, ended up running into her mom. And her mom was like, "You know what, I trust you, I believe you, let's keep this dog." And Gertie's like, "Okay." So they went to get Teddy and Derry, who were at the hospital. So they went to the hospital. Everybody was at the hospital. They all went into the room. BB at some point unseen teleported into Derry's hospital bed, and everybody ran in, and the parents were all like, "What's going on? Oh, it's a dog. Get this dog out of here." The doctor was like, "I'm allergic," or something, and they all ran out of the room, leaving the kids. They all discussed that they were like, "Yeah, let's keep the dog." Some of them were like, "Even though I'm nervous about it, let's do this, and let's find out stuff about the Shadow Place." That episode ended with BB barking and breaking the light above them in the hospital bed. And then we got to our latest episode, correct?
Yeah,
yeah, the last episode we recorded.
7.
Arc 2.
Where we did a 2-week time skip, and a lot of stuff happened in between there. The bullies were expelled. Minus Taran Takahashi, but all the bullies who beat up Derry were expelled, and Taran had been sort of unseen for a couple of weeks,
at least by our characters.
Yep. And it was close to Halloween, and there were some other minor things that you can pick up if you watch the episode. We discussed it at the top, and I had confirmed that BB was in fact the powered character, and in Kids on Bikes there is a powered character. It's part of the mechanic of the game.
She's like 11, but a dog.
Yeah.
11 the character, not the age.
Oh, I
She's
thought you meant like 11, the number. Like
She's like 11 years old.
Oh, we won't have her for much longer.
No, she's a puppy.
Yeah.
She is a magic dog, though.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
It's true. Could have her
she'll
forever.
outlive us all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks at you and is like,
Mortal.
they'll leave me soon.
She's a puppy on the outside, but she's already like 70.
Ancient on the inside.
I'm a puppy on the outside, ancient on the inside. That's my Tinder bio.
Puppy in the streets.
No,
Ancient.
don't finish that. I don't
Puppy in
care.
the streets.
I don't
Somebody
care.
adopt me. I'm
That's all I have to
lost.
say.
Puppy in the
streets.
street. Puppy in the streets. I need help.
Puppy in the streets, please adopt.
Please adopt. Yeah. So and then what? How did the last episode start?
We talked about
And then this.
Halloween. We talked about Halloween
plans.
costumes and plans.
Oh, we had a band practice, a mom's strength band practice.
The first one we've seen on stream.
Yes.
Ended up back at the Fox place.
Yeah.
Frankie and I wrote letters to Harini,
Yes. Who they both have a crush on.
inviting her to come trick or treating with us.
Halloween's
But
coming
she
up.
and I would be supervising.
Yes. Because they're too old to trick or treat.
Sure. That's why Gertie invested so much time in a costume this year.
Whatever, it only took me like
which is
just
the
a couple
TARDIS.
hours to make.
Yeah.
No big deal.
She's only 14 going on 15.
Sing it.
Yeah. So and then everybody ended up back at the Fox hole
Yes.
with 2 H's.
Yes. What?
2 X's?
No, Foxhole, 2 H's. In the zero session, it's Foxhole, 2 H's. It's 2 X's, 2 H's. You said it.
Why did you let me say that?
Because you said it, and I thought it was fun. I don't know. Because
No, I remember that.
Fox is
That
spelled
funny, you're right.
Foxx, and so hole is spelled
Yeah.
HHOLE.
Oh,
So
I
it's more
just-
like
That's
the
funny.
foxhole.
I'm a clever one.
You're right.
Wow. Hearing you say it, you're right.
Hearing me say it, you're right. Yeah.
What else did we do last episode?
Yeah, no, well, everybody was like chatting and, catching up, and Phoebe was trying to make a meal the whole time.
That took 4 hours.
I set up a new computer.
Which it was only mac and cheese.
Oh,
It wasn't.
It was.
It was just a
wasn't that
casserole.
we kept
It was only
roasting
fajitas and mojitos. It was only chicken nuggets.
Mac and cheese and mojitos.
It was a wonderful dinner. She tried very
Honestly,
did.
mac and cheese and mojitos sounds like a wonderful
It sounds
Wednesday
great.
night.
Honestly, that's what I
Mojito?
want. As soon as
No.
we're done streaming, can we go get mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese mojito.
Mac and Cheetos.
What if you had mac and cheese flavored mojitos?
Anyway.
Think about it.
So
I don't want to.
we,
I already don't like alcohol. Don't make it worse for me.
we ended up hearing from.
Yeah, there was a phone
If
call.
you got a phone call in the other
There was a
room,
phone call, and
I knew something was
it
up.
was
Yeah.
it was, I guess, Takahashi and her parents on the other line, and they said that they recognized the dog in the photo from the found posters for BB, and they wanted to meet with the dog and discuss things the next day, and everyone was very distraught, disappointed, felt very strongly that this was not true and that Taryn was just trying to pull something on them.
Yeah.
Because Taryn knew about BB because of presumably Rob and Little Pete, Big Rob and Little Pete, and had every reason to possibly maybe get some revenge depending on how well how close she was with the other bullies who all got expelled.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reason there, or just because Taryn's a bad person.
Or it's her dog.
Could be either way.
Or it's her
But
dog.
probably
It's her
not.
dog.
We really don't
Maybe
know.
it's her dog though.
Yep.
Could be, but probably not. But
Yeah.
maybe. But probably
But
not.
Derry and Teddy were like, we're going to go challenge Taryn tonight.
Real quick, that was Derry. And
Okay,
Teddy
Derry
just
did it.
Like,
It was-
okay.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I told Sam that, I don't know, and I think Derry doesn't know what the plan is. It's just that, Derry doesn't trust it to Phoebe.
Well, I
because
use
Taryn can
challenge.
manipulate an adult. Yeah.
I use challenge as in, I'm going to challenge your thoughts on this. I'm going to
Yeah.
challenge what you are saying.
Definitely a confrontation of
Yeah.
some sort.
Yep.
And Frankie was like, I'm going to go with. And they're like, no, you stay here. And Frankie's like, okay.
Okay. Wink.
and then they left, and then Frankie left, and then Gertie was like, hey, Frankie followed you, or something. He's like, Frankie's going there first. So they were all racing to see who could get to Taryn's place first, and then Phoebe popped into Gertie's room where Gertie was with BB. Pretty solemn, a little forlorn, and Phoebe was like, pretty much whatever we have to do to keep this dog, I want to do it. And they shared a moment. And the last thing I said, which I'm going to get to say this again next week, since we're going to do the follow-up to that episode narratively next week, which I love that I get to say this again. It's like, you're a really special kid, and that's a really special dog, and I think you were meant to find each other.
That's a good moment.
Yeah,
she's a good mom. Phoebe's a good mom.
The Fox parents are great
They're
parents.
such good parents.
They're solid parents.
It's only going to be more disappointing when I have kids and I'm awful.
Just channel your inner Fox.
Yeah, my kids are going to watch the stream when they're old enough. They're going to be like, why couldn't you do this?
Why don't you smoke weed?
Why aren't you like this? Either that or they watch I Am a Decent Enough Parent, and then they watch this stuff and they'll be like, oh, do the Marcus voice, please. Like, when you're scolding me, do the Marcus voice.
Do the Declan voice all the time.
Be Declan.
Be Declan.
I love that you think your kids are gonna watch the stuff you're making now.
Oh, they don't have a choice.
They'll be in the crib.
William's gonna sit his. Actually, we'll still be doing Hijinks Handlebars.
Oh, of course.
You know how people have those
it won't be a problem.
the spinny thingies above the, what are those called? Above
Montages.
cribs.
Oh, the mobiles?
Mobiles, there we go.
Yeah.
The
But
mobiles?
it's screens?
No, mine's just going to be a flat screen above the entirety
I
of
thought you said it was going to be a character of each of us just going around.
No.
Gertie, Frankie.
I know.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Never.
Like, flat
I
screen
think
of
yes.
5.
Slowly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a screen where I keep showing all of my movies and my music videos and everything.
I have to say, I think it's a great idea to have a giant screen right above your baby's crib.
Let's do it.
I think that's a great idea.
I think it's a
Sometime
great
in
idea.
Fall, William.
I mean, what if we
And I
put
want
a net?
it needs to be.
That's a good
slowly-
point.
net.
If my
slowly
baby
rotating.
falls, it might hurt the screen.
Exactly. You want to put the baby on top. So it's looking down at the
Finally, I put my baby on top.
You're too far away, so I had to. Which was, I mean, if they had to, it was great.
I had
Love
to.
hugging Spencer.
All right.
So, shall we get
Unhuggable.
to
We should be about half an hour.
Audience
So,
question.
The first audience question we have is why did each of us play our pick? Why did we pick to play the character?
Okay,
we
that's the
played?
stream, everybody.
Why
Why did Peter
what?
Piper pick a peck of pepper?
Peppers. Bye.
So Jonas, I think we should just go in stream
yeah.
order.
Yeah, so I can definitely start. And actually, Spencer kind of gave me a good way to frame sort of how I wanted to explain this when he said that, like, rolling good in this game is fun, rolling bad is really fun, because my sort of approach to building Derry, at least like as far as the numbers were involved, and then like matching that with personality, is I wanted to make a character whose like primary action and things that they were like driven to do, they weren't good at, and in this case it was fighting. So I built a character who was like all about fighting, wants to take on these bullies, but isn't very strong, doesn't really know how to fight, and that's reflected, like, I think it was like a D4 and a D6, I think, for fight. Which it could be like a D20. So, like, I wanted to do that, because I feel like that's something, like, that when I was thinking about, like, playing a teenager, which I know I wanted to be teen, not, like, kid, I'm like, you are trying to do new things, figure out what you're good at, and you're gonna find things you're not good at, and you might do them too long, and it might get your nose broken.
By your best friend.
Yeah, by your best friend, yeah. But I was going to play a character who was, like, dangerous to themselves, like, who would put themselves in danger. But then the BAM stuff is just because, like, I've been holding back on playing characters in tabletop RPGs who are musicians because I am a musician, and, like, I feel like it's too easy or too obvious. So, yeah, so I'm just, like, I haven't really done it, but this was just, like, I think you might have mentioned music first, and I was like sort of thinking about it because we're doing like an ongoing thing. But that's just something I was interested in exploring, I guess, at this point in a different way. I don't know. I think that's why I built Derry the way I did. Also, I wanted to play a character who was rich, and Derry's family is very rich.
Yeah. Which you've only recently very much been touching on, and I love it.
It's
so good.
It's very fun.
It's fun. It's also fun to watch you play someone very rich.
Yeah.
Because I get to think, what would that be like? What would that be like?
One is great. And Derry himself isn't even rich. It's his parents who are rich, and he just gets to spend their money, which is even better.
Yeah, you don't have to work. You don't have to work for it.
No.
You just
I don't
get
even have to
it.
think about it unless I want to spend it.
Gosh, I can't wait for my kids to feel like that when I am very rich and
When
they
we're all rich. When we're all rich and famous from this show.
I love that you think there'll
From
still be
this
money when
show,
you're
we will.
kids.
It'll all be Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We'll be
It'll all
centionaires.
It'll all be cyber Bitcoin that's streamed right into your
It'll be
brain.
BB coin.
Coin, Dogecoin.
If our 10-year plan works out.
Yep. This stream is just a front.
Why Teddy?
Why, Teddy?
You had such an interesting answer for Gary. I feel like Teddy does not match up. So when I was first thinking about playing a teenager, the first thing that came to mind for me was that I wanted to play someone that was like sort of interested in the outdoors, because that is something that I was not, and continue mostly to not be.
Me too.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff indoors. I work with computers a lot, so I kind of wanted to branch out and see what how a teenager who's more interested in the outdoors lives their life. And I pulled a lot of stuff actually from my brother, who was big into metal detecting and stuff like that. That's why Teddy that's why he does metal detecting. And yeah, I think sort of Teddy sort of got built by the stream. Like I think especially in that Zero session, I sort of had an idea about what I wanted to do with that character, but like literally, like playing with you guys and just bouncing ideas off each other, like the whole band thing, or even I didn't even really know Teddy's like name going into that stream until we started joking about his name's. His name's Tedler. He's got a nickname of Tank. Like that all came from the stream. None of that was really me. It was just sort of bouncing ideas off of everyone else here. And there's something that I really love about that because it gives me the opportunity to build a character in real time, which feels more natural than coming to the stream with this person who's already fully formed, and especially as a teenager. I mean, Teddy has so much to learn, and I feel like learning that on stream is going to be interesting.
Yeah. The same was kind of for me too, because Zero session really helped me a lot. I did know that I wanted to be older than the rest of you guys. I don't know if that was like a boss thing or like I just
at the whopping age of 14 going on 15.
Age of 14.
Wasn't it originally 15? But we were like, no, I want to be 14 going on 15.
Yeah, because it was originally 15, and then I was like, well, God, that means my next birthday, which is soon, I'm gonna be 16.
Which is basically 40.
Which is basically 40. I mean, in all honesty. I don't know. The short of it for Gertie, I guess it was a combination of, like, I drew inspiration from Jodie Foster.
Cool.
Yeah. Who I thought was from Texas, but she's not.
Where is she from?
She's from California.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Oh, California.
She just happens to have that accent.
Or just
That's
a little,
crazy.
yeah.
I mean, it got a lot of parts.
I mean,
someone fact check. You can fact check me.
I will do.
But because before our first session, I think I looked up interviews of her to try and get her voice
Oh, interesting.
down a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
That makes perfect
that was
sense.
the discussion that Franny and I had because I mean like the characters have parents and stuff. So when we were creating a little bit of like some background for everybody, so on stream I wouldn't be like completely caught off guard or trying to create every single like really important person. I was like, do you have family members? Do you think they're really important? Are they going to play a part in your life? Give me like basic rundowns of them and then don't give me anything else and we'll just run with it. And the one thing that Franny told me was I'm going to sound like Jodie Foster. like just so you know that I'm gonna have a little bit of a whistle maybe, and I was like, oh god, oh geez, I can do like a butchered Southern, but I don't know if I can do like a whistly thing.
You've been doing it.
But
it was fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Such a good part of the stream.
Yeah.
Really hot.
It has been so good.
But anyway, yeah.
Well, yeah, and then to finish off, I think also a part of I kind of wanted to make Gertie somebody who I wasn't as a kid, because like Franny was very like follow the rules and like kind of shy and like and I just wanted Gertie to just kind of be like outside the box and like draw outside the lines and not be ashamed about it, not be apologetic about it, and just like but still loving life and like you can still be a good kid too, you know?
Yeah.
Stay in school.
Stay in school. Yeah.
Do drugs. Don't do school. Stay in drugs.
Do drugs at school.
Do drugs at school.
Behind closed doors.
Meaning inside the back, inside, because you don't want your drug smoke getting out. That's how drugs
I
work.
want to do a quick thanks to Regal Mercenary for subscribing to QueueTimes. That's awesome.
Thank
Oh,
you.
fuck, thank you so much.
I don't know if you're
Cool.
still. I don't know if you're still on, but like, thank you.
Thank
Like,
you.
Sincerely,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome. Yeah.
That was the short of it for Gertie.
So yeah, if we're handing off to Frankie, Frankie was honestly a very spontaneous decision. Cause like leading up to it, as we were like talking up, leading up to session 0, I had two kind of concepts in my mind of characters I kind of wanted to play, and I thought I would just read the room, see how like the overall like ensemble composition of like, you know, these kids were shaping out to be. So
Yeah.
I wanted to play
I do think it is important to mention, because you're just about to touch on this maybe, that all the characters happen to be young, but on the kids in the Kids on Bike system, you can be a child, a teen, or an adult.
and I
Like, there
almost
was-
played an adult.
Yeah, there's a wide range that like
Did you
people
really?
could have
Yeah.
done.
You almost played an adult?
So I would have played. I was thinking what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like a young adult. Like I wanted somebody probably pretty close to our ages, who was like. I had this image of like who was gonna be like Jared, somebody's like pot smoking older brother who still lives in the basement, who like.
Oh, you're the roommate in Declan's house.
Mark, yeah. So I would have played. I just had this picture for this guy that like. His life is going nowhere fast, which would justify maybe why he's hanging out with teenagers and much younger people, because like he's not at like the same level of his peer group. And I thought like just this goofy like, fuck, I'm the adult figure. Like I don't have my life together. Shit,
Man,
millennial
that-
probs, man.
That would have changed the dynamic of this stream so
This show would have been so
much.
different.
Oh my god. Absolutely.
So.
we would have all had to be more rowdy, I think.
Right?
It
Yeah.
would have been less.
Or the other direction, we've played Kids on Bikes before, and like I wanted to play a game I played in a one shot. Will GM'd before, and it was this kid Denny who was 17, terrible social anxiety, could not speak a sentence to save his life, but was just like this prodigy at kung fu, and I thought that was
Yeah.
a funny dichotomy.
Yeah,
Like
so cool.
right,
Was
and
it, yeah.
he was so much fun to play. I thought I might bring him back for this.
Yeah, that was a discussion we had. Yeah, you brought up, you were like, hey, can I play Denny for your campaign for Hijinks Handlebars? And I was like, I did love that character.
Yeah.
That character was
I'm so
awesome.
glad
we
you
have a
found
dairy.
Frankie,
We have a
though.
dairy that
Right,
can't
yeah.
be
Yeah.
dairy.
Couldn't have had a Denny.
And like I
No,
think
no.
in playing because we played Denny for a one shot, but I feel in a campaign more, they probably would have been very similar to a lot of what we see from how Sam's playing Teddy, and I felt like okay, cool, like having a character so similar in that kind of quality doesn't add as much. But where I got the actual inspiration for Frankie was the the rendition. Tanamato did for our cover art, you know, where you see all of us as kids.
Oh, yeah.
It was the rendition of me
With
up in the front, and it's just the look of him hunched down, and that look of determination. I was like, okay, who's that kid?
Well, with like your bike was the one that had flames on it, wasn't it?
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
He just
cool.
knew Spencer.
And it just kind of like, okay, cool. What if we just play like, and we already kind of had like a range of these kind of mellower, more like intrepid, insightful people, you know. So I was like, cool. Let's just get some
Feel-
like,
feel shit
let's
in
get
there.
some sparks. Let's just have like, you know, some, you know. Let's just have this like radical fucking 10-year-old Evil Knievel who's like, all right, let's get wild.
Frankie
That's
is
how we got
such
Frankie.
a good character. I love how you play Frankie so much.
You're
Sorry.
gonna say what I was gonna say. Say it.
We're the only stream you watch in earnest.
Thank you, Regal Mercenary.
I don't know if any of us know you personally, but thank you. Holy
Thank you.
shit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh
Thank you
man.
for like continuing to earnestly watch.
Thank you for watching this episode.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching
If
this.
you have questions, let us know because we'll answer
Yeah,
them.
we would be happy to answer anything.
And if you've seen every episode so far, if I mean sincerely, if you're like if you're all caught up, we will be back next week with a continued narrative.
It's going to be a good episode next week. William has already
unlike every other.
William's already given us the script, and
So actually, I think I might ask a question for the rest of the cast, though.
Well, don't we want to know about my character? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
If you do that, we will force you to answer every single one.
No, thank you. We have over 30.
So I would like to know why you wanted to do this show. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Do yours. Remind me to say why I wanted to do the show.
Well, I know in playing Frankie, I feel like I've made a lot of discoveries in who this child is, and there are things that I didn't know how to do at like session 1, session 0, that like by session 7 it's like, oh shit, I like have a better understanding. So how have Teddy, Derry, Frankie, and Gertie grown and developed over the course of playing these episodes? You know, like what discoveries have you made about them and how they interact with things?
I can go first again. I definitely, a lot of Derry, it's interesting because like we all talk about like don't build the character before we do our 0 session, just like think about it. And I think I probably kept the most that I had thought about before we came in, as far as like sort of Derry's like path of decision making, and like general like I guess personality. But things that have changed. I mean, Derry definitely is taking a big step away from fighting because as of right now, he kind of has beaten the bullies by not fighting.
Sure.
I mean, speaking from Derry's
no, I get you.
It's been 2 weeks they got expelled. So like it feels like he's moving away from that. And in the last episode, like I'm leaning one more into like the rich kid thing, but also into like I did a little bit of as Derry some like computer research stuff, and like that felt very right for Derry.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So I might just make Derry like lean him more into a nerd, which his brains is a D20. So like if I want to be a power gamer, that is the move to make. I don't, but like, but it definitely, I think Derry, which is what I was hoping I would organically discover, is moving away from being as much of a fighter and more of a brain.
I mean, justifiably, if your brains is a 20, and but your like personality is like I want to fight, and then like the one time you like are like, you know what, I'm not gonna fight, and it actually does get like bullies expelled, and like you see like some positive like consequences like coming from that. If you are in fact smart, as you say you are, then I feel like it is logical to come to the conclusion that like, oh, maybe this isn't the direction that I want to be, like, and so it's not just like like you're flipping to like a different thing, or like
also Derry's definitely still gonna fight, like he was probably still the most likely to fight outside of maybe Frankie.
It's also like you could compare as somebody who's very fighty, if they're approaching it, I'm just gonna like brawn my way through it with like grit, determination, versus hang on, new strategy, new approach, let's fight, but knight to E3 type shit.
Teddy. So I when we were building our characters in the 0 session, the thing I sort of decided about Teddy was I was going to play him as someone who constantly ran away from stuff. It was sort of like I sort of decided I was going to put my D20 in flight and then sort of build the character from that. And I've sort of tried to stay true to Teddy being afraid of things. I mean, that's why for a lot of the series so far, Teddy's had a hard time accepting BB into the group, because he doesn't know BB, he doesn't know how this dog is doing magic. And I think that's something that's really hard for him to accept, especially, I mean, honestly, so soon after his sister's death. I think he's struggling a little bit in dealing with the consequences of that. He doesn't really know, how to work through any of that, and it sort of comes out as this like anxiety about the world. But I think that the major change that I think Teddy has gone through in this first arc is recognizing that it's not really about him being afraid. Like, it's about him trusting his friends, and trusting that they know what's right, especially with Gertie. There's a moment in episode 6, right at the end when they're in the hospital room, where Teddy is talking to Gertie, and he's like, yeah, I mean, like, if you trust BB, then I trust you. And that was sort of the decision that he came to. The other big change is Teddy no longer believes that his sister is dead. Which is something we touched on in the last couple episodes. I decided actually, so after Teddy got pulled into the Shadow Place following, it was the vacuum, I think.
Yeah.
We were all there?
Yeah. So the following day after that, Teddy could not sleep that night and then ended up having to go to the school nurse because he was falling asleep in class. And I decided when he ended up actually going to sleep in that nurse's office, I was thinking a lot about like what had happened to him and how that might come through in like dreams or like what he thought about the world. And so I decided, he dreamed about Andolin, and he dreamed about seeing those eyes in the Shadow Place and about what that meant. So I've been trying to play in the last couple episodes the idea that he no longer believes that his sister died, or maybe that she is somehow back.
Gertie's growth over the past 7 episodes, I feel, it's been a little more subtle and slow going.
Hooray.
Well, yes. Yes, that is very interesting. Even, I'm still figuring that out as
we all
Franny,
are.
yeah.
It's hard.
It is hard. But at the start of the show, I was wanting Gertie to be very kind of carefree, fun. She kind of takes a lot of Frankie's energy, feeds off of his energy. I think she really enjoys him and genuinely enjoys him.
It's a very synergistic relationship.
Oh, yeah.
It could be kind of one of those things okay, cool, I have to be the strict sibling, but you're just and all the Fox family is very go wild, kid. Okay, a little too much, but
go wild, reel it in.
Yeah.
That's
That's all you can do with Frankie.
Which I think has just been it's been good for Gertie. It's been beneficial for her. He keeps her young, I guess. But I think towards
she feels 13 going on 14.
and that's huge when you're that age, A year really makes a difference.
Not now.
Well, no, not now. And then towards the end of this first arc, I think the Shadow Place has definitely kind of changed Gertie a bit. She's now walking that line where it's there are more important and serious things in this world that maybe I should start putting a little more careful focus on. But, then still really wanting to keep up with, friends at school and, treasure hunting and all that jazz.
That's really interesting. Because approaching because I thought I up to this moment I thought that most of your infatuation was with the Shadow Place was that it was cool and that it felt pretty good, but the fact that it's oh no, this has opened you up to a world that is very serious. We're very serious and interesting things happen that you need to be attentive of. That's that I like that a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Agreed. Yeah. So. That's where Gertie is at the moment.
Cool.
What possible growth?
Let's hear this.
He's grown an inch.
I also started laughing.
And he has skipped grades, vocabulary.
Let's see. We've skipped about
reading levels and
about 7 grades. We've skipped about 7 grades.
Well, you're kind of doing them all at once right now, so it's hard to
sort
say.
of an amalgamation.
Also, I started laughing in the middle of when you were talking, Sam, because I remembered that Mark Declan's family's roommate's alter ego is Triple Fuck the Clown.
Have we talked about that on stream?
No.
Can we give a little, for the people who have stuck through with us this far, there is a character who exists in the world.
Is this for real?
Do we want to
is this
canonical?
canon?
None of this is canon. All of this is canon?
No?
I will not name.
Okay, fine.
I will not name a character. Okay, this is since we've already dropped a bunch of swears.
Yeah.
I will not name a character Triple Fuck the Clown.
Come on.
I love it.
Wait,
Don't
but
get
can
me
you
wrong.
say Triple Fuck the Clown with a straight face?
Yeah, Triple Fuck the Clown.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Triple Fuck is a behind the scenes myth. Okay.
It's the rumor that goes around ball every couple of years.
Yeah, but it's a rumor, but
try that one one more time at the very end of this.
Yeah.
I'll try it.
Well, that's what
Actually, I was gonna say I'll try it now. I was like,
That'll
and
be
then
the final
as soon as I started
inauguration
saying I'll try it now, I just started almost laughing. No, I won't name a character that. That is not. I will. I love the idea that Mark, the
roommate of the Declan
the roommate of the Roses, is a clown.
Maybe he used to be called.
And I love that. I even love that that he would have an off-color name or something. But
Triple Frick the clown.
Triple Hell the clown. Triple.
So if you
Bam,
talk
the
to him,
clown.
he'll say, "Oh yeah, my clowning career's really been taken off after I did some rebranding."
He just never
triple cuss.
triple cuss the clown. He just never.
AKA fuck shit
Here's the
face the
deal.
clown.
Here's the deal. We all know he's named Triple Fuck the Clown. He just never will say. We can never get him to admit.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't care if we swear. I don't care. I don't care if we swear. I don't know why we started the stream deciding, oh, we're not going to swear, invented the swear jar thing, and then kept going. It's like whatever, because like in character you swear like whatever, yada yada yada. But like it was like just a personal thing for me where I was like, as a GM, I want to see like if I can go through all of this like improv and narration and like narrative storytelling and like being this like on my toes but involved and invested and prevent myself from like delving into like something that's like too blue or going like too like graphic or cursory or that kind of thing. And so it was like a personal thing.
Yeah.
And also on the other shows we do with QueueTimes, they were like, try not to swear,
Well,
but I'm not sure why. But like, I'm not sure why.
Really good job
but
of
it's
not
good. I mean,
swearing.
it's good. It's good and important.
Great.
Yeah.
It's good and important because maybe like
We
more
haven't
people.
sworn once.
Yeah.
No.
We haven't sworn once in this episode.
once.
No, we haven't sworn even once.
We've sworn 133 times.
I'm sure Krug in the chat is like, oh god.
At the beginning,
said he's not
at the
keeping
beginning, he was like, "We're not
track.
keeping track anymore because you've sworn so many
That
times."
was the
why
very
we're
first
going
comment. Fuck that.
Okay, now,
So-
now we've sworn once.
Yeah, nice going, Spencer.
Wow.
We almost made it.
Way to break
Cut the stream. Cut the
Cut the
stream.
stream. Get it. Get it.
Don't-
It's me this
Don't
time.
actually cut it.
Almost
Okay.
there.
So I guess to actually answer the question, this is really cool because like I had no idea how like Frankie was gonna like actually engage another person in conversation.
I was curious about that too.
So like Frankie is such like a firecracker. It's like how do you imagine like playing him and like the first couple episodes I was just like I have no idea how I'm gonna do this. You know, like how do I just like be
10.
like a real person?
How do
you
I
know?
be 10?
So like the first couple episodes was very like hands-on, you know, like episode 1 he like is sharpening sticks to play with, he like wants to grab the axe, he like sculpts the crow totem, so everything is like all about like putting hands on something to play with.
That was so important and beneficial because it's like it was the most physical interaction we got out of a character because I think because you like didn't know how to interact with other people exactly, so you were like you're like a screenplay writer's dream. You were the sections where there's no dialogue and people are like, oh wow.
Yeah, it's so great that you wrote that all into the script.
Right,
Yeah.
it's brilliant, right?
Thank you.
It's really
I mean,
wonderful.
I'll take the compliment.
But the episode with like, and I think this was like, oh, what the fuck for like everybody with when Frankie got called out
to the principal's office. Principal pal.
Principal
Yeah.
pal.
Principal, what's his name? And so it was just like, okay, cool, being on. And there were so many times where you're just like, did you rub poop in the air vents? And I was so close to just being like, yeah. And I was just like, hold the roll grit.
Hold the door.
Hold the door. So, and it's weird. And like, we even talked about this afterwards about how like, a lot of like, you know, just I guess Spencer the person's way of handling language and raw level of whatever kind of influenced how Frankie started to skirt around. And like, it was cool because and we actually like fucking we started changing up some of his stats afterwards because
Yeah.
like his like brains was a little bit lower, but it was kind of like, you know what, I feel like the rest of the family is smarter. I think he got some of that too.
You know, there are
I think that's not how
different.
it
Marcus has emotional intelligence. Marcus has a high level of emotional intelligence. Yeah.
Well, Phoebe's a lawyer, so
Oh yeah. No, I never said anything about Phoebe.
can we actually? I don't know if we've
Phoebe's
talked
on
about
it.
that on stream.
About Phoebe being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Pretty
It
sure
was,
we have.
it was
Phoebe
mentioned.
is
It was
a
mentioned in the
lawyer.
last episode.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah.
When we were talking about how strong she was, and Jonas, I think, said,
yeah, all
those legal documents.
And that wasn't like tongue in cheek. That's gonna make you.
Yeah, it was. It's funny that you started not knowing how to interact with people, and then like got so into a specific zone with your character that now I don't know how to talk to your character. I love talking to Frankie. And in character, sincerely, I love talking to Frankie because I know I'm gonna lose every time. There's little I can do to work my way around a 10-year-old, like speaking wise. I just I'm like, could I just pick you up and like put you
Cut your room
you out of the
which is like, that's like lovely. And then also the other reason I love Frankie so much in this regard is because when I am on the same page, or like when I am trying to, like, as Marcus explain something to Frankie or like be one-on-one with Frankie, that ends up feeling really good because you school me and you own me most of the time. But then when I do sit down to have like an emotional or like a really meaningful moment with you, you like, and this is for you as a player, Spencer, you like really focus in and still in character as Frankie, like true to, the wildness going on in your brain. You sit with me and you have that moment. And here and there you'll still own me. But it's like, it feels like I'm talking to someone who is listening and understanding and is like being empathetic with me. And like I love that. I love that we're getting this out of a 10-year-old and it still feels, I think it still feels like a young kid who is just ready to take over the world. I don't know. Yeah. And I love that. Yeah.
It's kind of like...
Sorry, go ahead, Spencer.
I don't know. It's like if you've ever, like, you're working with children and then you just, like... You kind of get this, kind of dysphoric sense, I guess, where it's just like, oh shit, like, I see you and I perceive as a child, but it's like, shit, you're like, you're a person in there. Like, there's a full-blown person.
Oh, yeah!
There's a person in there.
Oh, yeah!
See, Franny knows. She works with kids.
Yeah. All the time.
We are getting up on time here.
No, that's fine. I want to go a little long.
Yeah, cool.
I have a couple things real quick.
Yeah, and we still need to get back to me.
Oh, sir.
Yeah.
But I do go for your questions.
Well, so I have something just real quick that I thought might be fun.
Cool.
I scrolled all the way back. We have a group chat, just of the 5 of us talking about the game and scheduling and all that kind of stuff. But when we were first starting the stream, we were trying to come up with a name for...
Oh, this is fun. This is a good idea.
Can we guess who said them?
Yes,
and read
absolutely we can.
Just like quick.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through a few of these.
These are names that were thrown in a fury to figure out an actual title for this show.
Honestly considered.
Yeah.
Every single one of these. Pancakes and potholes.
Spencer.
How did we get to that?
Yes, it was Spencer.
Pancakes and potholes.
Yeah. Also in that same
rapid fire.
Yeah, in that same rapid fire, porcupines and pot, and road rash, road rage, and road redemption.
That's gold. That's gold. I'll take credit for it.
Wait, was that one title?
That was
3
all,
at the end. Road rash,
I don't
road
know.
rage, and road redemption.
Oh, that's all 3 of them. Those aren't separate titles. That's like
one title.
It's like the good road, the bad road, and the ugly road.
Ugly.
Great.
Next we have tabletop tirade.
Was that you?
Oh, please don't let that be me. That's bad.
Was that William?
It was William. We have We are bikers. Bum da dum 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 dum.
Franny.
Yeah. Yes.
Your face got just so stern when you said that. Franny. 1,000 yards.
We have spokes folks.
That was me, right?
Me.
No, come on, that was me.
That was me.
Let's take a vote. Was it Jonas or was it William?
That was
me.
me.
Spokes. That was me.
Everyone vote for themselves.
I am Spartacus.
It was William.
Yeah, that's what's up. Because Spokes is actually good, and also, something. Yeah, close your mouth. It was actually something that after we had settled on Hijinks Handlebars, I was like, oh, we could call like our fans spokes.
Do you like that? Is that
You like it?
This is a question of Regal Mercenary. Tell
No,
us.
if you're gonna have any name yourself.
Yes.
I'm not gonna be like, this is what you're my little monsters. No, sorry, I didn't mean to call
Not that in particular is a bad one.
We also have
deep end.
we also have Pedal Pals, which honestly was very considered. Like I made some.
That was like one of our
In
final
writing,
three.
in writing, it looks good.
Yes.
Pedal pals, spoken out loud. It's too hard to hear.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yep.
I don't want to keep repeating it, but
Pedal
it's bad.
pals.
Yeah.
Pedal
Yeah.
pals. Pedal
Was that
pals.
me?
Flower petals.
That was me.
That was
you.
That was me. Yeah. Pedal Pals was me. Let's see. We also have. Pedal Pals evolved into Pedal Punks, which was a William joint.
Yeah.
And then we had. I still have trouble pronouncing this one. Pedal Bicidelic.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I wonder who's that one.
And literally, like the conversation after you say
Can
that.
I see it?
Yeah. The conversation after Franny said that was like, what? What is that?
Yeah,
How do you
that's
even
nice.
pronounce that?
I know I don't even mind because I was at work and when this was happening. I mean, I wasn't the only one, but like I wasn't getting the messages live. I was like catching up as they were happening. So I was like, yeah, what? Yeah, what they said. Okay, you're past it.
We also have. I'm just gonna do rapid fire for these
Good.
last few. We
Good.
have tire tracks, tires and shires.
Hold on.
No,
Can you tell me who that one was?
No,
Spencer.
Who's Spencer?
it was me.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I said only if we do a loader crossover though.
Yeah.
We also have quadrupedal, and we have dice cycle, which I still think is a good name
Dice
for
cycle is
something.
good.
Yeah,
Because like bicycle, but with dice. Dicycle.
the ones that I actually made, I honest to God made some art for it were handlebars and hijinks actually, which was the original recommendation.
Handlebars and hijinks?
Yeah, which would have been.
Oh, that's right. Because
Yep.
then I was like, hey, can we swap those?
And then everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that's so
Hijinks
much
handlebars.
better."
That's right.
It
Oh my
works
gosh.
better.
Yeah.
Pedal punks, kids on yikes.
Oh, that was me.
Spokes and folks and tire tracks. Those were the 5 that made it to like the final round.
Cool.
I had some good suggestions in there. You just
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
find them.
I just
No,
remember
there were more, but those
I
were
was
all the
fighting
ones
for
that I
like
grabbed.
some variation of hijinks and handlebars for so long because like I was like the cadence and the ampersand is so iconic to like
Yeah.
tabletop roleplay.
Yeah.
We were just like hijinks. How do you even spell that? And I was like,
Okay, this is
it was like
honestly
so
a
close. I was
concern,
fighting for that the whole time.
It
I
is.
still have a concern
It's
with
still a
that.
concern.
Yeah.
Because hijinks, some people spell it with an X.
I spell it with an X, which is why I like.
Which is technically wrong.
I
Because
know,
it's a
but
plural of a hijink.
yeah.
Well, and some people put a dash like hijinks.
Which is also wrong.
And some people do like I know even sometimes with QueueTimes they do like HIJINKS or whatever,
Yeah.
which like that's not even the way I would do it, but like yeah, that's why branding's important. Really think things through. But hijinks and handlebars sounds good.
So good.
H&H.
Did you have any other things?
That was it as far as titles.
Okay.
I feel like we skipped a lot because like I know I would just go
yeah,
on
so
spree.
many more.
That was,
I just grabbed like a random
Yeah.
selection.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I
And
like
mine, I get it.
porcupines and potholes like that. It would just be I would just take something and just like de-evolve it and just be like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Here's something that reminded me of that. Here's something of that. Here's something of that.
it's just
to like
free form.
get options.
We've been sent a link in the chat to the Merriam-Webster entry for hijinks. Plural noun. Less common spelling of hijinks, like HIGHJINKS.
Huh.
Boisterous or rambunctious carryings on, carefree antics, or horseplay.
Wait, hijinks is the less common version?
Less common. No, it's not anymore.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It says right there the less common spelling of 2 words. Hijinks.
No fucking way.
No, it's
no
not.
one
Well,
says.
hold on.
hijinks.
People
I
say
do.
stone jinx pretty often though in my circles.
Well, I mean, we would always say jinx a lot as kids. Jinx.
Yeah, but
was
how many
different.
times as a kid did you say
That was different.
hijinks?
Jinx was different. That's like
Yeah.
being cursed.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh.
That's
Wait,
why I mean.
they're
like,
saying that together hijinks was more common? Like
They're
saying
saying it's
hi-
less
they're saying
The way we spell it for our show, they're saying is less common than hijinks, like HIGH.
I
So
don't
can we get the
know.
Merriam-Webster for the word jinx?
Oh.
I only want one
Like
hijink.
Jinx plural?
Yeah.
Like a Jink.
Like the Pokemon. Anyway.
Wow, that Jinx is really high.
Why?
Why, William?
Yeah,
why?
Why?
William,
Why did you start this show?
I want to know.
Why did you get us
Why
all
did
on
I
board
start
with
the
this?
Can you
show?
tell me?
Okay. So, I guess the reason that I started this show is because I backed Kids on Bikes on Kickstarter, and
They
I was
backed
really
us.
interested in it. It looked like a lot of fun. I mean, like, I like Stranger Things. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of Stranger Things, but I do really like that show. And I'm not one for quote unquote like nostalgia culture kind of stuff, but I just liked the way it looked, and the art they had for it looked really fun, and the way that they were wording their messages to their backers and everything just felt really good to me. So I was like, oh, I really want to play this. And Indigo was the one who got me onto it in the first place, and I've been working with Indigo and Krug for
2 years.
a bit now. Yeah, working. I did the original like setups and stuff for Game Gorgon, and I used to do like all of the videography for that, and lighting. But this is very time consuming. They do like check out Game Gorgon on YouTube. YouTube channel.
It's good.
Yeah, it's they do a lot, and they do a lot of research into tabletop stuff and break it down for you really easily, and it's great. And there's some other like gaming related news. But I was doing that. Indigo turned me on to this thing, and I was like, I'm gonna back that, and I did. And eventually, they released sort of like a PDF of playtest like kind of thing for their backers. Indigo sat us down, Jonas and myself and a couple other people, and we played a session, and it was like some of the most wonderful role-playing experiences that I've ever had. I loved how role-play heavy it was, like about focusing on characters and really, the roles don't stop the momentum, the roles improve the situation, like for the players, and when you're trying to develop like a scene or what your characters are doing. So coming from that, I knew immediately. I mean, I was already doing a podcast, D20 Academy, with Jonas, that we had. And so I was like, when Kids on Bikes comes out, I'm going to do a Kids on Bikes podcast. I just like flat knew I was going to do it. I have a separate storyline for that show. I have an entire different, like, maybe one day I will do a Kids on Bikes podcast, and it will be a limited series run. It's going to be...
And that's more, like, structured.
Yeah, that's a lot more structured. I have, like, a beginning, middle, and an end, like, thought out for that. And I hadn't GM'd really before. So when Kids on Bikes was released, I was getting really busy with, like, D20 Academy and everything else. So I was like, I kept pushing back the idea of doing this podcast. And to familiarize myself with the system, I just started doing one-shots with a bunch of people. I was like, I'll do a one-shot here, and because I had never GM'd before. So I started doing that. And I mean, like, genuinely, if you didn't know this, GMing the first episode of Hijinks and Handlebars, I think was the 4th time I ever GM'd. And when I say that, the other times I GM'd were just one-shots. So it wasn't even like before this, I had never GM'd a long-running campaign. So this is the first time I'm doing it. Crazy. So if that opens anybody up to believing that they can also GM, you can. Like, if you've enjoyed playing and you've been wanting to dip your toes into it, or if you've never done it before and you want to get into role-playing and you think you would enjoy GMing, just sit down and do it. And be with people you trust to do it, maybe not on a platform that is streamed to people. Sit down, like, make mistakes, discuss things with your friends, and like make sure you're having fun and a good time. The story can come second. Who cares? Not everybody's going to be Critical Role. Not everybody's going to be like every other stream that you see. It's if you think that setting out that like, I'm going to tell the best story I possibly can the first time with this group of people that like maybe we're not like completely like hitting it off, that's a hard way to go into it. But if you're going into it ready to like make mistakes and trust each other and believe in what you're doing, then I think that's like really a good way to go. And to wrap that into what I was talking about, that's exactly what I felt about this. That's exactly why I did this. I knew that I didn't want to do a podcast anymore for it, because QueueTimes came to me and asked me if I would be interested in like helping them with their streams and being on some of theirs, because they just this past year got into streaming, like actually doing that in the space in the studio, and we have all the equipment to do it finally. And so that was very exciting to me. So I was like, I'm going to do a stream for you. I'm going to GM it, and I want it to be kids on bikes. And Indigo and Krug were like, hell yeah, that sounds amazing. Yes. Let's do it. So getting my cast was the hardest part.
Yeah, it took a long time.
It took a really, really, really long time for reasons that, like, in the future, if somebody wants to bug me about, I'll talk about, but I don't want to go into it too much right now. But it was kind of, weird serendipitous, because I put out, like, a final call for a cast on, like, my social media and everything. And I knew I was already going to have Jonas. I was, like, on the fence about Sam. But then Sam did a one-shot with me that I wasn't even GMing, and I saw him play, and I was like, I gotta have Sam on the show. So I grabbed Sam, and like we've worked together quite a bit, and I love him, so it was really easy to like make that decision. And then I've worked with Franny as an actor, and we did a play together, and
which was so fucking good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
God damn it.
And so like seeing her in that context and knowing how fucking good she was at acting and how much she like gave herself to her characters and just seeing the way that she worked, it was like an easy call for me. I was like, and here's the thing, everybody, Franny hadn't really played a tabletop role-playing game before this. So but I knew because of the way I was going to run the game, it was going to be very role-play character heavy, and Franny was perfect for that. So I was like, gotta have Franny. And I put out this final call and it was getting nothing. Mm-hmm. No one was responding to it. I wasn't even getting like likes or like retweets or like anything. Like it was like, I just kept looking at stuff and I was like, I post a picture of like myself. I post a selfie and that gets like 50 likes. I post like,
wow.
Oh,
good for you.
Mr. Big.
Like you don't get more.
I don't with my dogs in it.
Well, Tig has gotten more likes than I've ever in my life, which is my cat. And then suddenly it was like, it's getting so late. And I got this message. I open it up. And this means a lot to me personally as like a creator and like an artist. But for someone to come to me about even like an idea, I have a concept, and something that doesn't even have to be fully fleshed out, and say, I would be so excited to be a part of this. That means so much to me. And that's exactly what Spencer like popped in saying. Yeah. And he was just like, I don't know if I'm right for this. I don't know if like we know each other well enough, but like this sounds incredibly exciting. I like it. We had played together. We had done one shots, like he said, with that other character he was wondering if he could play. And he's just like, I want to be a player. I want you to be my GM. This is awesome. Like, if you'll have me, I want to be on. And I think my response was like, I think I literally thought, I was like, you know what, fuck it, you're in. Like, I was like this, because that was like so perfect for me to see in that moment. I was like, I wanted 4 players, and in this moment I was like, that feels right. And I was right, and you were all right. And I wanted to do this because I wanted to tell a narrative story in a way that I have never told before. Because I'm a writer, I've made films, I've written plays, I write music, I've written songs, I've done so many different forms of telling a story that watching other tabletop role-playing streams or like listening to podcasts like Drunks and Dragons and The Adventure Zone and Critical Role, and I just knew that sort of a system of telling a story was so visceral and exciting that I had to be involved in one of my own. So, and then coming into this, I'll say it, I almost had nothing planned at all. Yep. I knew, I was like, I want this to be like, in fact, there were things that happened in the first episode that I didn't do that really scared me and set the tone for the whole series.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and it was like, we wouldn't have gone that direction if I had planned something. I don't even know, but like it's yeah.
Well, it's like you really. I mean, you were upfront that like you're going to be taking a reactionary approach to your part of the story writing.
Yeah.
Which has been really awesome because we just get to do whatever we feel like our characters would or want to do, knowing that it will affect something, that it will like create something. It'll have an effect, and that's been cool.
Yeah, and William, what? Yeah, well,
I just wanted to say, William has this saying, I guess, that he has told us several times off camera, but he says everything matters. So even offhand jokes and stuff like that, if something matters to the group, then it matters to the story, and I think that's an amazing outlook to have as a GM. I think that's a really like brave way to go into a story because it means you are going to be at the behest of the players. So it is a remarkable thing that he does,
and you gotta trust it.
Yeah.
And that's like, and so you have to have the right people. Sometimes, like even if you're just doing like something with your friends, if it is not the right people exactly, going in with nothing planned doesn't work sometimes. I've been like scrambling at points with like one shots or something if it's like we have strangers involved and like the trust has to be there, and you also have to be willing to like completely. I will come up with ideas in a session for something I want to happen a little bit later in the session, and you have to be able to let go of those if your players are like, I want to do this instead. It's just like it has to go that way, and. And there are a couple things I've learned from other GMs that have helped me, like, and something I learned in a one shot that I did was if I am stumped for an idea, I make a character do a roll, and then whatever the roll is, whether it be positive or negative or something, I just have to say something. So like if something if someone makes if I'm like, you know what, hey, make a brains roll for me really quick. If I do that to someone, sometimes it's because there's nothing up here. And then when you make the roll, I'm like, oh, there we go. Like that's like, oh, okay, that connected like this for me. That kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. William, I've got another question for you. I don't know how much time we have left.
Do one more.
Let's do one more.
This is a good end question.
Really quick, chat. What did I weird flex on? What was my weird flex?
That was I get like 50 likes on a selfie. I'm pretty sure.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's more like 100. No, it's not.
So William, this is really a question from me as a player, or from me as an audience member, I guess, to you. And I think it's maybe something the audience is curious about. That we've talked about a little bit as a cast, but hasn't really been broached on stream. What do you see the future of Hijinks Handlebars being? Like, how are we planning on, maybe talk a little bit about continuing to do this, or where you see the story going, or
So by now, as of like after recording the very first episode. And I mean, like, not the 0 session, but the first episode 1, I knew how this portion of the series was going to end. So I know that. And that may sound strange, being as how I've said, like, oh, I let them do whatever they want, and, like, that kind of thing. But, like, the way I was just, like, thinking about it, and thinking about how I said I want to tell a story that I think I couldn't tell any other way, and a story that I haven't heard before. And I was like racking my brain about that after the first episode, and then it like washed over me, and I knew exactly where it was going to go in a way that no matter what they do, it's in their hands, and these things, like, they have full control. It's not like a railroady situation. I have just written it in a way where I know exactly what the last thing is going to be, but I don't know anything in between.
Cool.
And like, you could get on a plane and all of you could go to Europe, and I would know how it would end. And you could all like separate and decide not to live in the same state, and I would know how it would end. I just I know exactly where this is going. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. I hope it's over a year.
Can I guess?
No.
It's about the ending?
Final episode. They open the treasure chest. Inside, we hear, "Hi, welcome to Hijinks Handlebars. I'm your GM, William White." Is that it? Is that what you're gonna do?
That's the end. Yeah,
Oh, that's
Jonas
awful.
guessed it. Jonas guessed it live on stream. You heard it here first. That is how the series.
I do have one final question. So can you say triple fuck the clown with the straight face?
Oh, wait. If one, okay, here's the thing. If anybody in the chat, we'll go for just like a tiny bit longer. If anybody in the chat has one final question for us, we will answer it.
Lightning round question. And while we're waiting, what Hogwarts house would every character be in?
I think Derry's like a really shitty Gryffindor.
I think Teddy's a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I was thinking Derry Hufflepuff, but I think Derry's Derry's a Gryffindor. I'm pretty sure.
Then I feel like Ravenclaw.
Oh, I feel like it's obvious to the point I don't even need to say it.
Yeah. Wow. So we actually are one each.
We're perfect.
Yeah.
Declan?
Gryffindor or Huffle.
Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Phoebe Fox?
Gryffindor.
Marcus Fox.
Hufflepuff.
He's like a Ron Weasley Gryffindor.
Is your
Neville
your
Longbottom.
differentiation that Hufflepuff and Gryffindor are the same except one's weak and one's strong? Because that's what it seems like.
Hufflepuff is like the softies.
Yeah.
They're like the.
They're they're nice and they're fun. The Gryffindors are like they're
They can be
good.
aggressive.
They're the heroes. You're not sure you want to.
Taran Takahashi.
Hardcore Gryffindor.
Slytherin, maybe?
Slytherin?
Oh, just
My
because he's a
first thought
bad
was
guy? Just he's a
Gryffindor.
bully?
Yeah, I'm thinking Gryffindor.
My original
I
thought
was thinking more like
Gryffindor.
Ravenclaw.
I don't think she's a.
She's a fighter!
Well, yeah,
She's a hardcore fighter.
She comes off
be.
super smart to me too, though.
Okay, this is a great question.
We all have to answer it though.
Yeah, everyone can answer it. So the question is, William, what's your favorite voice that you've created so far? And
Wait, we said it at the same time because we're all gonna say Robot Snape.
Yes, actually, yeah.
Robot Snape. No, was it Robot Snape or was it was Muppet Snape?
Well, there
Muppets,
was two because there was Muppet Snape was the teacher, Robot Snape was Larry.
No,
Or was
other
it
way
the
around.
other way around?
I know who
Okay.
mine is.
Larry's voice made me laugh.
That's my favorite is Larry. Larry Gazzari.
Larry Gazzari cracks me up to no end.
Larry Gazzari Larry Gazzari is probably my favorite voice I've created just because it was out of panic.
William has privately told us that he hates school episodes because he's like,
I have to create so many characters. We have to do so many characters. I mean, it's not like I have a document that's like, oh, I have 500 kids here, and I just have to pick this one, and I already have a voice picked out. Like, no, like, I mean, if you watch the episodes, you can tell because I'm just like, stop introducing NPCs. Yeah, but that's probably my favorite voice I've created. My favorite voice to do is Declan's.
Yeah.
I love doing Declan's voice because it's like so easy, but like so perfect.
Answer the question as Declan.
Yeah, give us some Declan on that. Give us some Declan spin on that answer.
So I feel like so I like to use this voice because it's really easy to use, and also I'd be like it allows me to use most of my rage. By rage, and that's range. And
You have a lot of rage inside you, don't you?
And also it allows for certain things like that, but also because it's so easy that I get to be like very emotional with Declan. So that's why it's my favorite voice to do. It's my favorite voice to do because I have it's the one that I have to think the least about.
Yeah.
But yeah. Gary, what
Speaking
is
of emotional
Larry,
voices.
Larry Gazzari.
So if that voice is easy to do because it allows you to get a lot of flexibility, ease of emotionality, I want to hear Larry Gazzari have a fond farewell to his dog before it has to put it to sleep.
Oh my god, what? Where did this come from?
I'm not sure I want that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want that
That's
either.
just the spotlight.
Well, I'm not going to do it, but I did want to bring the voice out just to just so that you can hear it for the moment.
If you've forgotten, Larry Gazzari is the only goth kid we've been introducing so far.
There are apparently several goth kids, and I need to figure out what other Muppets I'm going to pull from. One of them's just going to go,
please, can they all be Muppets, please?
There's only 2 more, so actually, there's at least 2 more.
Well, I also have this voice, which could totally be a guy. Maybe I shouldn't pull it out.
Don't. Yeah, save it.
Wait, cover the microphones.
I have another voice that I've been dying to use because it's like it's also another voice that's very easy for me, but and is a lot of fun to use. But I've been avoiding using really really goofy voices for the show for a really long time because we were like setting kind of a more serious tone that would get like ridiculous and very very funny at points. But I was like, we're grounded in reality. So unlike D&D, I can't just whip out an accent every time I want a different character. Because if I whip out like a German accent for someone, everyone's like,
character's German.
Yeah, the character's German. Yeah, if I'm like, oh hello, this is my first day on class, and that was like German French. This is
I was gonna say.
So this is Hijinks Handlebars, and it's just like, yeah, you're from Germany.
Yeah.
So I've been avoiding doing that, but then the episode where you gave me so many NPCs, I just started getting ridiculous. Now I'm like, the gates are open.
I love how like at the end you're just like, it's like Leslie who works at the student's office in character voice.
Yep.
Says in a character voice,
Okay.
Do we have any last questions from the?
None in the chat. No.
What was so? Did you all?
Mine is Larry.
It's Larry. Yeah, definitely Larry.
Did you have you at one point?
Yeah. Principal Pal.
Oh, Principal Pal's great too.
Oh,
Yeah. Did you want me to mention?
Yes.
Okay, so Principal Pal. Also out of desperation, I was like, I don't know how to differentiate this voice without going into a zone that is like ridiculous. And then like it hit me in moment. I've been watching a lot of Parks and Rec, so I just pulled Chris Traeger.
That's what you did.
That makes sense.
Oh my god.
So when he talks like this, it's very much something that I think we really need to talk about.
I can't not see Chris Traeger.
So I think it would be important for you and I, Frankie, to have a discussion about what exactly we will be doing. It's like it got to a point where I was like, what are the things you can do for voice?
And when you first pulled it out, because I've seen Parks and Rec too, but I was like, why? I was like, first of all, it sounds familiar, but I love this so much. Why?
Yeah.
I have improv background training, and when you think about like creating a character, it's there's VAPAPO, which is voice, attitude, posture, obsession, and prop. Animals in there somewhere. Yeah, but there's only so many you can do like just for a stream character or like less for a podcast or whatever. So I've been relying a lot on voice personally, and then in that instance, I was like, what are the things that are related to voice? Because you can just like pull, even like physically, if you pull your lip down a little bit, it changes your voice, and that's a new character. Or you talk with your teeth clenched, like that's a new character. And that stuff I had been completely forgetting about and like ignoring. So then even like changing the way that you use your speech can completely change into a different character. So like literally. That's literally.
Literally? That's how I.
Yeah. So in that moment, I was like, I remembered that was an option. Like I can change the way I speak without changing my voice. You know. And we do have one more question. I'm going to do this one last question for everybody.
This is gotta be it.
I would like to just lead us into this last question to take us out. I think we should all end out with our own names. Say our favorite NPC, which the question is, who's your favorite NPC?
Yes.
William, I would like you to go last, and I think there are 2 NPCs you need to name. Your favorite one, and the one we just want you to say so bad.
Okay,
so I've been Jonas Newhouse. You can find me on Twitter at Jonas Newhouse, and I play Derry Nasri most of the time. My favorite NPC probably is Marcus Fox, I think. I love him.
Are we all going to say the same thing?
Although, I'll say, also Marcus, Grandpa Vahid is also, the way that you characterize Grandpa Vahid is wonderful.
Dirt.
I have been Sam Richardson, playing Tedward Tank Thompson most days. You can find me on Twitter at Laggardson, Laggardson. And my favorite character is Reggie California.
Read
Read between the lines.
At Handlestream.
At Handlestream on Twitter.
I will always be Franny Morrison, playing Gertie Fox. You can find me on Instagram at just_Frannie, Frannie. Marcus Fox.
Yeah.
Spencer the Bell. You can find my personal. Why are we doing this?
My personal.
Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
One more minute.
Hi. Yeah. I'm Spencer the Bell. Hello. I play Frankie Fox. Personal Instagram at Splubble. It's like Bubble but with a SPL. You can also follow. Same title as the Hijinks and Handlebars Twitter page at HandleStream. Same on Instagram. Favorite NPC. Favorite. Words are hard.
They are hard.
Marcus.
Yeah.
Is Marcus?
I'm just kidding. My favorite NPC is Declan.
Oh, thank you for changing it up for me to bring it right back down. So I've been the GM and the host of this cast chat, I suppose, and we will be back next week with a narrative episode.
Yes.
Hopefully.
We
praying
will.
that the studio will be fixed.
Don't even put that option out in the universe. We will be.
It's been fixed.
It's been fixed.
We will
It's
be
in the
back.
chat. Yeah.
Oh, thank
Unless
God.
something else happens. No.
Yes.
Don't even.
Yeah, so we'll be back with a narrative episode. It will be episode 8. We're going to pick up right where we left off.
It's going to
start real rough. It's going to start real rough.
Episode 7 if you want to know why it's going to be rough.
It's going to be a good episode.
Oh,
and
I'm so excited.
I think we might get to Halloween. I'm just putting that out there. We might get to Halloween, that episode.
We can tell.
I just want to get it out there. If you're still watching this, please vote for who you think is going to be the saddest NPC for when they die.
Oh, God.
Who are your favorite NPCs, William?
Who's your favorite NPC? Tell me in the chat so I can kill them. No, no. And, well, okay, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at KWilliamWhite. And, I mean, if you tweet at me about the show, I'll respond.
Same goes for all of us.
Nobody follows me, so I'll talk to you. And my favorite NPC is Marcus Fox. Mm-hmm. But the NPC I know you want me to say is Triple Fuck the Clown.
Thank you all so much for joining us on this wonderful special episode. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Come back next week. It's going to be so good.